Hey,
Hi, Rado. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm good. I prepared something new for today's.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm super excited to see what you prepared, and glad to have a demo because I've heard a lot about this tool, and I think what you're actually solving is something that can really shake up how we do our planning. And as a strategist, when I had a look, I was like, "Yeah, I wish I had a tool like this earlier." Super excited to share it with everyone.
So some time ago, I decided to connect with people and talk about whatever cool methodology or tool or solution or some kind of case study that they solved. Often we talk about them on the in the chat rooms. And this time it was me that I decided to give it a shot and build something that's going to be useful for other strategists, not only for me. But I already use it in quite a few, I don't know, in some sales conversations. I always check seasonality. So the topic of this conversation is going to be seasonality. And I think that most of the businesses do this wrong, or
Yes.
they
Wait,
try
they
to
don't
repeat
even
the
pay
last.
attention. Like, you've
Yeah,
got those like assumptions that apparently comes from marketing, from experience, but because we are using data, I think it's a game changer. So yeah, super, super excited to see this.
very few brands actually ask themselves questions like what kind of data we could use as a proxy to look at the demand in the market and to really try to map seasonality the right way. And the team members in our organization, they've really took it to another level. So they ingest 50, 100 keywords and Google Trends data, Google search volume data, or Ahrefs data, monitoring different keywords, which is usually a keyword is a good proxy for the demand because some portion of the population usually search keywords because they are looking for solution, and mapping when specific keywords have spikes and peaks, or highs and valleys. That's a great way to map seasonality of one keyword. But what if you have an e-commerce business, or you have a SaaS business, or you have solve multiple problems and solutions, and you have actually quite a few keywords that represent overall your overall seasonality. And there is another problem that, let's say you have product A and product B, and these two products have different seasonality. But one product, you sell 20%
Yeah,
of your inventory is this one product, this keyword, and the 80% is the other keyword. So you have to also adjust some weights because
absolutely.
that's the reality of your business. So if you put together all these variables on top of each other, actually there is a real need for a tool like that. So that's what I've done. I spent some time and I created a tool like that. I will share my screen now and
Yeah, let's
try
have a
to
look.
walk you through this tool. So it's of course lovable and windsurf cursor in action with the models like Grok,
Hmm.
Gemini, GPT-5, and Claude Sonnet. So I used all of them to basically refine bit by bit that tool. That's a version 1.0. And I'm not the only person that is trying to build some small marketing solutions in our team. I already have a few recordings of different tools, especially for Google Ads and Meta Ads, or for creatives. But this one is specifically for, in my opinion, the data coming from, I would say, Google Trends, number one, Google Search Console, number two, and maybe social media, Google Ads, like wherever you can spot some kind of sign of seasonality. This means that you could potentially download this data. And let's say from Google Ads or from Google Search Console, you download the data, date, day, click, impressions, and in here you can download Google Trends data. So how you do it, you just go to Google Trends and you check your specific keywords. Let's say this is one of the e-commerce stores I used to work with, and they had like specific category, these specific keywords that were the most important for them. And of course, I had to also adjust weights to
Yes.
specific categories because, for example, jackets, as you can see here, there is inverted seasonality of swimwear and jacket, just to represent you some specific use cases in which it's just so important to map different keywords and seasonality on top of each other. And also then the next problem is that the jackets actually represented quite significant share of the sales
Yes.
every year, and swimwear not that much. So there was a need to adjust the weights. So we download this data. So we just go, sorry, not this
But
one,
like,
but
you know,
this one.
as you do this, I think what's very important to reiterate is that not many businesses, definitely not enough businesses, think about this, because as you might confirm from like all the time when we onboard a new client for our agency services and our specialists are doing the audit of like, okay, how are your accounts set up, what campaigns are running, it might literally be that you are promoting swimwear in January. And then suddenly, like, you know, they are like, oh, why my ROI, ROAS has gone down significantly. It's like you're literally, yeah, like, you know, so having a tool that actually helps you plan ahead, especially at the level of a CMO, CMO, that's really can bring you, it can be your competitive advantage.
If we zoom out, this tool is not only performance marketing strategist tool to know when to push specific creatives in action. So when should we use specific creatives related to swimwear or jackets in specific period of time, and then adjust the budgets, like how much should we spend on specific campaigns that contain specific creatives, or like try to push the ad accounts into the specific directions. But it's also case of the merchandising and like what's like having the conversation with clients, with e-commerce internally, and also even planning of inventory, like how much should be the stocks of specific categories. And this whole conversation is a pretty big one. And I think that the e-commerce stores, they do it internally. But actually, the people who run marketing, performance marketing, the strategists, can bring quite a lot to the conversation, the internal conversation about the inventory, about the planning, about the capacity. And then if you build the right model with time, it should be also possible to predict and build a forecast on top of the there's a lot that starts with that process, but this tool that I built is much simpler. It's all about spotting the seasonality and trying to build a yearly budget for a specific brand, for your brand, and to have a tool to come back to that place and to refine it, and then to try another month to adjust it.
It will reduce so many. I remember in my previous workplaces, like, you know, that always end of Q4, beginning of Q1 the following year, what the marketing budget should be. I do all the magic arts and craft, magic 8 ball,
Yeah.
and looking at the trends,
Crystal
and
ball,
then
planning.
you get a question, like, you know, from the board. It's like, why is it like this, and where can we save 10 to 15% or something like this? And then you have to on the spot decide and present. So actually showing data and showing different scenarios. I will also think, when I saw this tool for the first time, I thought like, this is going to change how we budget, because we can adjust in real time, we can react to the trends. So yeah, super happy that you've created something like this, and I think everybody should use it, to be frank.
And it's not based on the gut feeling or like the last year's results, because you can also take into account the overall long-term seasonality. As you can see, the blue line here, the very generic keyword like plus size clothing, is declining. It's declining. You know, it's a long-term decline trend. But, you know, dress is holding up. Knowing what's going on in the long-term trend, so repeating the last year result might not be the case, because you should take, 5% decline of that specific category. Having at least 5 years of data and Google Trends data. Soon, Google Trends is going to release a Google Trends API, and it's going to be easier to combine it all. Now you can use some other solutions like SERP API to really try to ingest way more keywords. And a good example to show you how many keywords it could be possible to ingest is an example of, kids toys store. I know that 10% of effort that gives you 80% result is just basically, hey, there's Christmas, there is seasonality. Of course, there is seasonality, but maybe just to present you how many keywords you could potentially ingest into a robust tool, maybe beyond this one, because this is like for maybe 10, 15, 20 keywords maximum, but you can go for like even 50 different keywords representing different categories, different keywords, different brands, different situations, the Children's Day, birthday gifts, and so on. Like, there is a lot of keywords to be added. So just wanted to show you this example, because then you have to have more programmatic approach to mapping the trends and demands coming from different keywords, and then you combine it all together, adjust weights, and then you try to forecast the future. Based on our experience, it's from at least 1% is hidden in your seasonality, if you have seasonality, up to even 15. So you compare a flat budget with a seasonal budget, and you deploy money when actually it's the right time to deploy money. It's totally changes the game. So as you can see here, it just starts when you start spending in the right moments, when you have a business with high seasonality, let's say summer and Q4, it's like 45% above the expected results with the same budget.
Yes.
So that's just an exaggerated example, but there is always something hidden. And the methodologies I recommend to check is to check non-brand keywords like this. Sometimes it's possible also to extract the competitor brands, and you can also check their seasonality, and then you combine top 5 competitors and you have some data about how the seasonality of your competitors behave. Then you can blend it all together, non-brand keywords with competitor keywords. You can add on your Google Search Console data, because that's your organic, non-brand organic keywords. You can filter out non-brand organic keywords from Google Search Console, and directionally correct, you should get more or less a picture of like how it works. So in here, you have multiple demos. For this session, I will use data. So I will go and maybe use demo data. Clicks, impressions, some keywords from Google Trends. So I will take Google Search Console and I'll blend it with Google Trends, so that you could see that you can blend different type of keywords. You can click customize here. You have clicks, impressions from one file. You have another one that shows you some Google Trends data.
So what kind of client is it? Can you tell us a bit more what we will see?
That's just an e-commerce business that has couple of that have slides, slippers, clogs in it.
Gotcha.
So that's just an example of that. And then we have to choose aggregation method, because we blend daily data from Google Search Console with demo data.
Yeah, and that's usually the first headache when you try to analyze
because from Google Search Console you have just like over 160 days.
Yeah.
And Google Trends data is usually like 5 years, or you can switch to like United States, and you can like also narrow it down to a specific region, and then you can choose currency. Let's pick euro for the sake of this example. So this is where you get the seasonality.
And this is across all products, right?
Yeah, this is this is not across all products. This is just data coming from this demo these demo files. And this is where you see the preview. As you can see here, there is clicks from Search Console, impressions, slides, slippers, and clogs. And let's say that, and here you can see like the data from all of the data across all 5 years. And here you can see an average of 1 year, and how this seasonality looks on average in 1 year based on the 5 years data. So there is a lot going on, but we can see clearly there is a seasonality here. And what is critical is to adjust the weights and also metrics. And I could say that clicks don't matter that much, because let's say this business just started recently and it's an absolutely new business. So there are some impressions, but I think that they are not that important. I adjust the weight to 0.5. And what's happening here, the numbers adjust the moment I change it. As you can see, it changes. So that's important, because I have to it's all about refinement and knowing what variables have what weight. In here, I would say that for that specific business, I guess slides have very little importance, slippers have 0.6, and clogs have the biggest for some reason.
If we were to translate it to like a practical example, so we've got a brand new e-commerce store that is focused on promoting their clogs, right, at this stage.
Yeah, let's say that's a absolutely brand new store that has the 80% of inventory in clogs, 10% in slippers, and 5% in slides, and the other 50 are just the long tail keyword that is not that important, because you just want to take the most important categories into account. So let's just take it. And as you can see here, you see final result and the baseline trend. And you can also adjust still the weights here. You can come back to it and adjust it so that you could change the overall number. But it will be I am thinking like about the mode, like which is simplified mode as it is right now, and a bit more advanced, where when you see just 2 lines, or maybe you will see all of the lines, I don't know. But the goal is just to show you what is below. So you just pick a budget, you just add, I don't know, let's say 10 million euros. This is a big, I don't know, a fresh new e-commerce with huge budget. And then you choose budget strategy. Balance is the one that you start with. You have like the average weekly spend, the peak period, which is the peak period, and you have allocation approach. You can read
the peak
about
period, just to make sure everybody follows as we go. The peak period is that when the highest volume of searches for, in our case, clogs would happen. So this is where you have to double down on your budget. Like this is when your customers want your stuff. So can we maybe see what happens if you change the strategy to aggressive?
Yeah. So first you can change it here. So now you have monthly view, you have conservative, balanced, aggressive, extremely aggressive. So as you can see, the peaks, the months in which the peaks happen, they grow.
Yes.
And they increase. Budget cuts, this is already extreme. And so let's say you go for like 100K and you have to have budget cuts, and this is where you deploy the money the most. Let's say 100K for the whole year, 11 and 17 in March. It's because you want to capture the demand
Yes.
that is the highest for your category of products, and you want to go to the market, and then you want to push the budget into the right weeks, because the reality is that the cost per click, the cost per action, cost per conversion is lower during that period of time. And because the competitors aren't that fluent in adjusting the budgets to the demand, because they keep it more flat, more conservative. Let's say you have 5 competitors and all of them have conservative strategy, so pretty flat, and you go for budget cuts.
Yeah.
And then this means that there is more clicks available in the market, more eyeballs during these specific months or weeks, and you capture them, and the competitors don't deploy enough money during this period of time, and this is when you can win.
Yeah, and what I want to make sure that our viewers also follow is that, because here we focus on, let's say, a budget which is focused for, as you remember in the previous step, we set up that clogs are the most important product. This line, this analysis would look totally different if we were to go, for example, for slippers. I would imagine summer is the more significant demand for this kind of product. So you can plan a budget product by product, division by division, as well as to see how the whole category is behaving. So this allows a strategic decision on, let's say, CMO level, but also if you have in your e-commerce different product owners, or the marketing managers for different categories, they can all share this tool and then have a more informed discussions about the budget. So for example, I will need more money in March and I will be launching those kind of categories because I'm responsible for clogs. But the savings I make, if I underspend the budget, I can then pass it on to your budget as you as a marketing manager for slippers that will take over in January. Or I can preserve this budget and allocate it to the next in December. So this is, that also fosters teamwork for me, because you avoid politics, you focus on data, and this is when businesses win.
The best strategy is to have one strategy that you followed last year, and then you have another strategy that you follow this year, which is significantly different, and then you hopefully see the difference in customer acquisition cost. So that's the metric that truly matters: acquiring new customers.
Yes.
And having, or even returning customers. So when you deploy retargeting money to market, and you know that these clients are again in the phase in which they might reconsider buying another product, so that also counts. So there are some methods to change the allocation strategy, going back to the tool. This one is match peaks and valleys. This one is smooth and even. So you can see clearly that these are 2 different strategies. This one is more of a roller coaster. This one is more of a smooth sailing.
Would you say one or the other is better? Sorry, for different businesses.
That's all. That's everything that has to be tested. That's why there are just so many options, and there is an option to download the budget, because you can deploy weekly different strategy and even daily different strategy based on the tool. And then you can try to assess the result of that experiment. Why daily? Because based on the daily data we injected, you can also see that it also counts on which weekdays you spend money. As you can see, Saturday to Sunday distribution is Sunday and is the highest, Monday is second, and then it goes down, and Saturday it picks up again. So clearly weekend and Monday for some reason. So it also matters when you spend money on daily basis, on weekly basis, and at the end, what matters for the CFO is your monthly budget allocation and your forecast. And usually you check CAC, customer acquisition cost, on weekly basis or monthly basis. So it cannot, this tool is just to provide you solutions and options. It's not about giving you answers. Answers could be only provided based on the results of the experimentation. Here you can fine-tune a little bit the seasonal matching, extreme, high, neutral. So you can see you can increase or decrease a little bit what's going on here. You can match the pattern exactly as well. And then you can download this data. So matching pattern, the pattern is what we created here, right? This is the pattern. So as you can see, when we switch it on, it's almost exactly as this pattern above. And that's actually a good starting point because you can see clearly that the baseline trend, this is the smooth sailing. And here we can see that there is some more aggressive, because we fine-tuned this system here, this quick adjust. And this is where we can go and download the budget plan.
Yeah, because you can have a different product category, but also a different product model. So for example, within the category, you've got, let's say, a smooth sailing category for your, let's say, I'm thinking Adidas Originals, something that always buys, but if you would try to introduce a new type of shoe, then for this specific product, we go aggressive towards those trends. So I already see some, you can really create interesting strategies based on product level, and probably even that translates to creative level, which is
yeah. So as you can see here, there are budget recommendations. So for specific quarters, like how much which months are for the scale, invest, maintain, and test. And you can have some actions here. How much of the total budget should be allocated? Some additional information. To be honest, it's not that important. The whole thing. This is the most important part. You can also go for the full analysis, and there are different statistical support here that you can explore, but it's all in rather work in progress. For me, the only section I use is this one, the budget planner section, and
I really like the option of exporting that, what I said, because later on you can prepare a whole strategy justification that you can, for example, if you look at how companies work in practice, let's say it's this early January, you just came back from your Christmas and New Year break, you have to present a new budget, you have a budget strategy, and then always the board or your CEO or CMO is asking you, okay, how can let's run some scenarios on it. And then you can export as a PDF, put it in the email. This is all the justification. And that can save you so much time of creating aggressive scenario, conservative scenario, following that. We know each of them is grounded in data, and then becomes a strategic decision for the board or senior management to go, how we want the following year to play out. So that can really save a lot. I see it savings tens or hundreds of hours and a lot of discussions and disappointments in the way as well. Yeah.
The most important thing is that you can download advanced details here and kind of rebuild the logic of how it works and how you adjusted the weights in your Google Sheets, in your Google Sheet or in Excel. So the raw data is here. If you find anything not working properly, this is a beta for version 1.0, and I'm happy to get feedback. I'm happy to improve that with time and to refine different sections and solutions so that everything produces a better value on the other side. Right now, this app doesn't store any data. The whole thing lives in your browser. So nothing is sent to me or to the server. It's just pure app that lives in your browser. There is no AI on top of it. You don't send this data anywhere. It's just a local app that you can just visit and play yourself with the data. The one thing that I added here is a very simple explanation how it works. And I think that to invite more marketers and strategists, not only from our team, but also from other teams, I would like to invite them to basically go and maybe comment seasonality under the LinkedIn post with the publication of that tool, and invite them to, I will send them over the video training like this one, or maybe a bit more robust maybe, and they will have access to the source code of the version 1.0. They could like copy and they could place it on the a subdomain of their own agency or freelancing website, or they could like just copy and use it on themselves.
Absolutely.
And then they can like add and change this section so that, you know, free consultation is available there too for them, so that they could like use it with their clients, or I don't know. It's also they click on the, you can like also they can come back to us, me and Adam and others in the team, and we could definitely try to build a similar mini solution or interactive, let's say, element that is designed to your industry. Since we come from the marketing industry, this is what we do. We create small solutions that help you on a daily basis, and we can also help you creating that similar solutions for your companies. That's what we do, and we also try to embed these solutions into your articles, into your content, so that you could increase overall conversion rate of your website. So this is basically a gift to the world. You can take it. If you comment, you will get access to open to the whole data, how it's built. For me, what counts is that it will just, you know, go out to the world, and some people will download that, will use it. Maybe some people will come back to me and request a quick call, or they will send a message to improve or change something to 1.1 version, and that's also great. And in case you are a CMO or a head of growth, you feel free to reach out to me or Adam, and then we could try to build a seasonality plan for your business and maybe connect it with your internal data. This is a bit more difficult part, and then try to forecast and connect it all together. That's also what we do in our team. So because we are marketing strategists, and I think that's it. And
So
this
the
is what I
link to
wanted
the
to show you.
post, I think the most important part, the link to the post will be in the description of this video. So make sure you head down there and start your journey and start making better decisions, because in the end of the day, I think the internet gives us so much. So sometimes it's difficult to, like, you know, find your way around the data you have. But once you use a tool like this, and you can literally overlay and see it as a marketer, okay, this is the demand, this is my budget, how do I match my budget towards the demand, and how do I overlay the products I want to sell in a given time. That will lead to much better results, happier teams, better like ROIs, and who knows how many promotions will happen after someone comes up with a great strategy for this. Yeah, I think every marketer should have a go. And even, like, you know, if you think your strategy is solid, try to do what we showed you today. Export some data. As Rado said, it's fully anonymous, only lives in your browser. Put it in the tool and see, because you might be surprised that you will see some things you haven't noticed yet. So yeah, I definitely encourage everyone to try it out, because from experience, spoiler alert, it works. It really works.
Even as part of sales conversation,
Absolutely.
it makes sense to validate the specific business assumptions and to show them, hey, this is what I see as I took your keywords. In this instance, I took these keywords, I put into the tool, I adjusted the weights, and I think that this is just a starting conversation. Maybe you should change the allocation, weekly and monthly allocation of your business. And that's a great starting point for conversation with different businesses. And this is what different agencies and freelance strategists could use. So yeah, hopefully you will like it and use it. Thanks a lot for your time and attention.
Brilliant. Thank you, Rado, for putting it together. And I think it's got great potential. And it's amazing that this tool is free for now. Or will it remain? I don't know. So get on that post in the description as soon as you can, because like, you know, we will see if we where we take it. But yeah, great job, and thank you for doing it. I look forward to I already have some ideas for testing things myself.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, and take care. Bye.
Take care, Rado.